Here's a video of using the relationship between these special angles and applying that to find variables. So what we got to do is know when to set the expressions equal, and that would be these four relationships, and when to set the expressions supplementary, that would be these two relationships. So anytime angles are corresponding vertical, alternate interior, or alternate exterior, we will set them equal to each other in order to find the variable. And when there's any adjacent pair that makes a linear pair and you can put a half circle around it, we'll set them will equal to 180. So we have to put a plus sign between them to make them equal to 180. And then any same side interior, or also called consecutive interior angles, we'll set them equal to 180 as well. So I want to go through this pretty quickly. Remember, you can pause whenever you need to, whenever you're writing stuff down. So I'm not going to go here and walk you through the actual equations. I'm just going to show you the equations, but I'm just going to make sure you know how I got them. So as I look at number one, all you got to do is recognize the corners that they're in. So that 58 would be in this top right one. Moving down to this intersection, the 5x minus 2 would be in this one. That is a top right. That's corresponding. And that will be one of our congruent relationships. And there's just me saying 5x minus 2 equals 58. Do a few little math steps, and we have our x. On to this one. The position of the 16x plus 22 is at top right there, and the 134 is on the bottom left. So these are exterior and alternate. They're exterior of the parallel lines on alternate sides of the transversal. So that means alternate exterior angles are congruent. So I'll set them equal to each other. And then there's my math for solving them. Some of these can be kind of hard to figure out what angle the picture is, trying to tell you the measurements in. When I give you my assignments, I'm going to try to make sure that it's easily, you can easily figure out where the angle is supposed to be on the picture. But this is pointing here, and the 125 is supposed to be in this picture. At least that's what I thought. So these are both interior of the parallel lines, and they're alternate. So alternate interior is one of our congruent relationships. So I put them equal to each other, and there's me showing you my process to get the 18. So here's our first example of a supplementary pair. So this 133 is supposed to be in this big obtuse angle here, and we're pointing down to this guy with that 9x plus 2. So we're going to say these are interior angles. They're inside the parallel lines, and they're on the same side or consecutive right next to each other. So same side interior angles add up to 180. So this equation is going to look a little different. We're going to put a plus sign between them and make them equal to 180. And that would be my process on how I come up with my x. Number 5, I think it's kind of easy to tell where these angles are. We've got a top left and bottom right. So these are exterior, and they're alternate. So these are alternate exterior angles, and that's a congruent relationship. So here is me saying they're congruent, and my process to get my 23. Remember, if you want to write anything down, just pause. Or rewind if you want to see something again. Okay, this one's a little easier to read. I got an angle in this bottom left and this angle in this bottom left. Anytime I say the same exact position bottom left, that's corresponding. And that is a congruent relationship. So we'll set them equal to each other. And there's my math to back that up. Number 7 is another alternate interior relationship. Interior, alternate side, they're equal. That's one of our congruent relationships. Set them equal to each other. And there's my math to find 12 there. Here they are consecutive or on the same side, interior. That again is our relationship that they are supplementary. So it's going to be a big look. This is going to be a lengthy looking equation. Atom equal to 180 because they're supplementary. And there's me combining my like terms and just moving everything over and divided by the 14 at the end. All right, so sometimes it's going to get a little crazy and have 2 variables in here. So the steps are you find which variable you can find first. So number 1 is we're going to figure out which one we can find first. There's 2 x's, and the x's are in the relationship here. And I'm going to help you and say most of the time it's in alphabetical order, so you're going to be asked to find the x first and then the y. So look at the x's. We have to look at these 2 first because I cannot create an equation with an x and a y in it and expect to figure out what the x or y is. So you got to create an equation first with only x in it. And so x is in these 2 positions. That's an alternate interior relationship, and I'm going to set them equal to each other to find x. So once you find x, you have options. All right, so what I'm going to do is now focus on this y. You could do these 2 add up to 180. And I can do that now because now this x is gone. I'm going to plug in that 17 and actually find the measure of that angle. So I can do that. Or I could put that 17 right here, and these will be supplementary, add up to 180. So I can do the half circle. That's our second relationship that's supplementary that I haven't seen yet today. Or the same side interior angles. And I'm going to pick this one. And that's just because I just chose it. I'm putting the 17 in. And now when I put the 17 in, I only have y left, so I can do this now. I can find y. So that all that becomes 105. That angle becomes 105, and then I can just add it to this angle, combine like terms, and subtract. I did 2 steps at once. I combined the 105 and 35 to make 140 and subtracted it to leave me 40 left, and then y will be 8. Okay, so I'm going to let you look at this for a second. I'm going to pause for 5 seconds here and let you try this, or even see if you can even mentally figure out the steps you would take, and then I'm going to show you how I did it. And you can pause. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now I'm going to show you how I did it. Well, these 2 are a supplementary linear pair. They add up to 180, and that's how I got x. I hope you saw that. This one's kind of easier to see. The y is nowhere near them. I'm not going to even think about that y. So I made this a supplementary pair and added them up to 180. And got my 4. You'll need that 4, and you need to get that 4 correctly if you have a chance of getting the y correctly. That's why it makes this. That's what makes this hard. Is if you mess up here, there's no way. Or I mean, you could luckily get y, but not 99 out of 100 times you're going to get y incorrect if your x input is incorrect. So what I see is now I could put that x here and I can find this angle measurement. And I'm going to compare it to this now, and I know those two are equal. They're alternate, I'm sorry, yeah, alternate x tier. I almost said alternate tier. There's an alternate x tier and they're equal to each other. So I'm going to put that x in, that 29x minus 3, put that 4 in there, and I made it equal to that alternate x tier angle. And then all this math I can do real quick on a calculator. I got 113. Now I'm ready to move that 17 over, divide by y and get y is, or divide by 13 and get y is 10. So the way this is coming out to be is you're going to find x first and then plug it in to find y. Okay, so I'm going to let you try to pause this and see if you can come up with a game plan, or if you want to try it without me first. You can pause it. So what I did is I ignore y. I'm looking at my positions, top right, that's corresponding. I can make corresponding angles equal to each other, and that's what I did. So there's my process to get to 14. Needed that 14. So now I just got to figure out which angle I want to put it in. Put that 14 in. And what I did was say, well, since these two are next to each other, I'm just going to make this a linear pair down up to 180. So I'm putting my 14 in this guy, finding that angle measurement, and that's 124. And then adding the 10y plus 6 to make a half circle. There's my 180. Solve all that out to get 5. All right, so anytime you're seeing a puzzle, when you have stuff like this, I mean, if you have it on paper is nice. Even put it up to a computer screen. You can take a piece of paper and cover stuff up. So like if you're in a class and you print this out, or at home you print this out. If you see stuff like this, you can take Post-it notes and just start. If I give you a 3x plus 12 here and a 4x minus 6 down here, but you're not even worried about any of this stuff. So you're totally ignoring that. So you can kind of like take a paper, put it to the screen, like I said, try to ignore that. So I could say, since these are on a bridge that crosses through parallel lines, I can say these are top right, so these would be equal if you see something that's on a puzzle. So if you get, let that be a strategy to help.